Thanks for watching Film Buff, really, honestly, it's fucking great.
Hey man, what is up guys? Film Buff here. Yeah man, so we're doing episode 3 today. So basically I tried doing episode 1 and 2, I had the reactions recorded. So I put up episode 1, it got pulled down, basically my first copyright claim. Yeah, it got pulled down, and then it said it was pulled down because of a track, so I kind of had to go back in and edit that out, and kind of mute that audio. So I put it up again, and this time it was up for a few hours. But then it got taken down again. They asked YouTube to look at it manually, and they took that down again. And then at that point, I was like, I'm not even gonna bother, with episode 2. But I'm gonna give it one more shot. Let's try episode 3. Hopefully this one stays up. Yeah, man. Let's see what happens. So episode 2 was based on Maeve. Based a lot on Maeve, right? During like surgery, kind of just wakes up and just freaks out, man. Rightfully so. She kind of just runs into a different room, different part of the building, and she sees these android bodies, man, and she sees Teddy. So let's see how that plays out, man. More of Maeve this episode, perhaps. Man in Black has that guy, can't remember his name, and he's looking for this maze, and his daughter, the guy's daughter, kind of steps up and tells him, the maze is not for you. The maze is not for you. So everything at this park, at this amusement park, is for humans or the guests. So she's saying that maze is not for you, but he is a human. He's a guest. Maze is not for you though. So I don't know, man. Could that mean he's maybe not human? I mean, because the whole point of this amusement park is that you need, everything that is in there is for the paying customer, but she specified that this is not for you. So we'll see, man. Maybe there's some kind of twist in there. Let's see what happens. So a few people did get to check out my first one, episode 1 reaction, and a few people thought I'm like confused about this. Guys, I'm not saying that this is exactly like the Matrix. I'm saying there's themes and concepts that are similar to the Matrix. I'm saying there's themes and concepts that are similar to Inception. I'm not saying they're in a dream state. That's obviously not it, because they show us bodies. There's physical bodies, and I know it's like at an amusement park. So I just want to make it clear. I know what's going on. I'm just saying, it has similar themes to Blade Runner, and similar themes to Matrix, similar themes to Inception. I'm just saying there's stuff that reminds me of those things. Doesn't mean I'm saying this is exactly like that. Alright guys, let's do it. Episode 3.
Do you remember?
I've heard the craziest theory about this guy, man. I'll talk about it in the discussion.
Thought you said we couldn't get shot.
You can't get killed. It won't be much of a game if they can't shoot back.
How do you feel? Alive?
He kills 6 hosts. He lets the other 3 go. I pulled the narrative logs. All 6 of these hosts were part of storylines over the years in which they killed Walter.
Whoa.
It's like he was holding a grudge.
Ooh, yes, Teddy.
Morning, Samuel. For your troubles.
Whoa.
Oh, you're new.
She remembers, man. There's that loop, man.
What if I don't want to stay here? Just sometimes I feel like the world out there is calling me. Whispering there's something more. Someday.
Something wrong?
You said someday. Not today or tomorrow or next week. Just someday. Someday sounds a lot like the thing people say when they actually mean never. Let's not go someday, Teddy.
Let's go now, man.
Let's go now.
Stay put, Dolores.
Dude, this is cool, man. It's the same scene again. Obviously, it's gonna be a little bit different this time, but let's see what happens, man. Wow.
The coward dies 1,000 deaths. The valiant taste of death but once.
The lady doesn't appear interested.
Come on, Teddy. I mean, they're androids, but you still feel for them, man. You really do.
I can't.
Some hands were meant to pull a trigger. Perhaps it's for the best.
I think she meant she physically can't, like...
I'm gonna come back for you. Someday soon.
Someday soon. See that look she had?
You guys can't program more than one of these idiots to make a fire?
We could, but thanks to a new policy from your boss, only one of them is authorized to handle the axe. The rest of them can't even touch it.
Weapons privileges need to be doled out selectively.
Yet, they give you a gun.
So Dolores wasn't programmed to handle a gun, I'm guessing.
Looks like it.
Why is this host covered?
I just...
Perhaps you didn't want him to feel cold or ashamed. You wanted to cover his modesty. Was that it? Doesn't get cold. Doesn't feel ashamed. Doesn't feel a solitary thing that we haven't told it to. Understand?
Damn, Ford's a hard ass, man.
What can I do for you, Bernard?
Whoa, that's cool, man. That is super cool.
Our hosts began to pass the Turing test after the first.
Oh! She's from episode 2, isn't she?
He imagined it as a pyramid. But for all his brilliance, I don't think Arnold understood what this place was going to be. You see, the guests enjoyed power. They cannot indulge it in the outside world, so they come here. And as for the hosts, the least we can do is make them forget.
If I may ask, what happened to him?
Well, he died. Here in the park.
The man in black?
His personal life was marked by tragedy.
Maybe.
He put all his hopes...
The hell is that, man?
Oh my fucking God!
What the fuck? Like barbarians or kind of like...
This is bullshit.
No, of course not.
There aren't two versions of me. There's only one. And I think when I discover who I am, I'll be free.
Analysis. What prompted that response?
I don't know. Do you still want to change me back?
No.
No, Dolores. Let's see where this path leads.
Hmm.
And you won't tell anyone about our conversations.
No.
And you'll stay on your loop.
Yes.
Good. You should be getting back to Dolores before someone misses you.
Interesting, man.
Got any use for this one?
Well. Got some sand after all, I see. Looks like your boyfriend taught you a thing or two.
She's not programmed to handle it though, right?
You having trouble?
Why don't we reacquaint ourselves, Dolores? Start at the beginning.
Kill him.
Get in, Dolores!
Stop!
Oh, dude. There's a setup. Dolores.
You'll even get to use that thing again.
So all kinds of things are going on with Dolores. All right.
All right, man. So episode 3. Yeah. So this one, I suppose the theme that this one kind of had was rebellion, perhaps. I mean, I don't know. There was no Man in Black this time. Maeve, the Man in Black and Maeve, their story was put aside for this episode. This one kind of brought the focus back on Teddy and Dolores, though Dolores is still pretty, active in episode 2 as well. But also, let me tell you about another theory. One of my friends told me this actually. They think that the two guys that came in, the nice guy and like his asshole buddy. My friend thinks that the nice guy is actually the Man in Black, but this is 30 years ago. So they're kind of showing us two different, storylines. They're kind of doing like a flashback, showing us the Man in Black, who obviously isn't the Man in Black yet. He's super nice and he's super like. His morals are, intact, while his buddy's just, fucking around and, like, just being an asshole. So, that's an interesting theory, right? That, over the 30 years, he's kind of gone to the dark side, you know, for lack of better, term. That'd be kind of cool as well, man. All right, man. So in the beginning of the episode, you know, there's more of that one-on-one conversation. Bernard and Dolores. So it seems like that's going to be a reoccurring thing, you know, throughout this season or this show. That Bernard's going to be having these secret conversations with Dolores. Now, what's the reason behind this? That's what I'm thinking. Well, here's my take. So later on in the episode, you know, they kind of go a little bit deeper into his son and how his son passed away, and I get the feeling that maybe he's kind of being like a father figure almost to this, this girl, and he's kind of helping her like develop, her mind, or I don't know, something like that, like he's kind of almost like therapy for him, that he's kind of having these conversations, with this girl, and he kind of wants to see her grow into something, because at this point it's clear that he's doing something that's definitely off the books. He's doing something that's frowned upon. Clearly, he wants her to develop. He wants her to grow. He wants to see where this whole thing can go, man. He knows what he's doing, and he's doing it in secret, obviously. I feel it's more of like a therapy type thing for him, and more of like a father figure. This is like almost kind of like his daughter. Did you guys notice how her dress is blue, just like Alice? Blonde hair, just like Alice. Blue eyes, just like Alice. I feel like that's like a cool Easter egg type thing, they did. But yeah, she looks like Alice, man. Another thing established in this episode, that Mr. Ford, he does not think anything of these androids. He made it clear to Bernard that they're not real. And there was that one guy who's kind of working on one of them, and he kind of had like a cloth over the older like android, and Mr. Ford got pissed about this. He's like, they can't feel anything, they don't have feelings. Kind of tosses the piece of cloth off and like starts cutting into him. So Mr. Ford, again, going back to him and Arnold, Mr. Ford, he's on one side of this equation where he's kind of like, these are just, androids. They don't have feelings, they don't feel anything. These are just things that, we're creating. On the flip side of that, right? So, we see that at play in this episode. We see Mr. Ford, in action, showing exactly what he thinks of these androids. But going back to I'm going off on a tangent here. Going back to my original point, Dolores had her clothes on. Bernard always makes sure that she has clothes on. So, that's another thing, Ford's not really into. He doesn't believe in it. He just thinks these are things, not people. So, yeah, let's see how that plays out, man. How Bernard and Mr. Ford are obviously going to clash at some point, because as Bernard's leaving his office, he even tells him, Bernard, remember, they're not real. So, we'll see, man. Bernard doesn't seem to be on the same page as Ford, and Bernard's more like Arnold. Another cool thing, remember Dolores kind of asked Bernard about his son, and at this point Bernard kind of gets a little bit like, huh. He then goes on to ask her, I believe it was analysis mode. He asked her, why did you ask that? At first he seemed a little bit like, huh, what the fuck? But I feel that it was more, more like kind of like impressed almost, because he's trying to see if she is developing a curiosity, perhaps, and then maybe she's going off the script and developing this curiosity, and that has Bernard a little bit, excited, perhaps. All right, man. So this episode kind of brought us back to the Teddy and Dolores, love story. It was cool to see it again. I really liked it in episode 1. But another cool thing happened here, man. So they're just kind of hanging out, and Dolores starts asking, can't we just go somewhere else, man? Like, enough of this place. I want to just leave. And, Teddy tells her about this, cool place, and she tells Teddy that she would love to go there with him. And then he kind of what was the thing he kept saying, someday soon, or someday. And that kind of triggered something, man. That triggered something in Dolores. Again, it felt like she's going off the script or off the narrative, right? She starts going, why someday? Why not today? Why not tomorrow? Basically, like, why not a specific day? So, Dolores is really, so Teddy is trying to teach her how to shoot. And, he's kind of trying to show her the stance. But another cool thing, man, she's trying to pull the trigger, but she can't. Like, she physically cannot. But I think Teddy just thought, oh, she's just, mentally she can't do it, she can't make herself shoot it. But she physically could not shoot it, because she's programmed to, I don't know, be a damsel in distress, perhaps. Not like someone who can handle a gun, and that's been programmed into her. She's not programmed to handle a gun. So that was another cool thing, man. And she realized it too. You see it in her face, she's struggling, but then she's kind of like, I want to do this, but why won't it let me, like, why can't I squeeze this trigger? Going to the scene, it's Bernard and Ford. Ford's kind of telling Bernard about Arnold. I was getting a strong, like, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak feel here. Mr. Ford is like Steve Jobs, and Arnold's kind of like Steve Wozniak. Remember that guy was about to rape Dolores, but then she heard something, and it said kill him. Is that Arnold? Maybe Arnold is still helping these androids, become self-aware, even after dying. That'd be cool, it's possible. And going back to that the barn scene, that guy, the stash, the handlebar stash, at one point Dolores kind of sees him as the Man in Black. So so stuff from her past, like loops, her past lives is kind of starting to leak in, and she's starting to remember. And then, man, she does something super cool. She goes beyond her programming. She's not programmed to handle a gun, but she does, man. She pulls the trigger and she shoots this guy in the neck. So she's truly going beyond what she's programmed for. Also, the Stray, the host, he kind of bashes his own head. I mean, was he programmed to do that, or is he kind of like Dolores, and he's kind of like self-aware? Maybe he wanted to eliminate himself to, he didn't want them to see something, or yeah, man, let's see how that plays out. Alright, man, so there it is, episode 3 reaction. I was a little disappointed that, no Man in Black, Ed Harris. That would have been cool. But obviously, it's kind of like Game of Thrones, where sometimes they can't show you all the characters in the same episode. So hopefully the next episode. Alright, there it is, man. Thanks for checking this out. If you want to check out my social media, it's in the description. Instagram, Twitter, Patreon. Alright, thanks so much for checking this out. Until next time, take it easy, guys.
Obviously a lot of people hate him, but man, you're fucking fantastic, man.
Oh, thank you, bro.
Like, so good, man, honestly. So good.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Dude, so predictions, man, season 7. What do you think?